Shit, oh shit. Y'all wanna know some real shit? I'm just sitting here. I just ended my shift for the day, and I was watching this Marine, and he's a Navy SEAL. Now I admire Navy SEALs, right? Because that's like, if you're a Navy SEAL, nobody has done. I don't even know if it's correct, but I would say 99% of the world have not done what you've accomplished, right? And when I looked in his face, I saw my pain. And I saw the guy who was interviewing him, and I thought, he's talking about all this shit he had to do, and he's lying to his wife, he's lying about what he's doing across overseas, and he comes back overseas and he's thinking like people are there and they're just talking, and they don't even understand the sacrifice I've made so that they can sit there and talk their BS about the US. And from my spiritual discernment, I thought, yo, that's his face, his energy, that's me. And I thought, that's any baby who was born in the ghetto. That's that pain. That's what you're feeling. That's what I'm seeing. Like, for example, talking about being in situations to where you were powerless in the situations. There's not much you could have done. I thought back to getting into it with, I'm 14, 15, hanging out with older dudes, 20s, 21, 22s, who I had no business being around. And one day, you know, just growing up how I grew up, I always say I grew up from concrete, meaning mama don't play, daddy don't play. The people who you're around, it's not a game, it's very serious. And I got into it with one of the older cats. He had to be like 30, and I'm like 14, 15. And I said something, I must have said something smart to him or something, whatever. Long story short, this dude had to been over 200 pounds. I was probably like 110 pounds. He hit me. And that's the only person in my life who has ever hit me who there was nothing I could do about it. In that moment, I felt just rage. You know what I mean? And still, there was nothing I could do about it. And I remember this dude from New Orleans who was one of the friends of the guy who was in the car was with me. And he said, man, if that was me, I would have do this, that, and the third. Okay. I'm 15 years old, 110 pounds. And this dude is over 200 pounds. And he's like 30. What am I gonna do with him, right? Not too long, a car accident happened, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in that car that were with me in that car that night all died. I went to my mom. I got a call on the house phone, and they was like, "Bro, you heard what happened?" I said, "No, I ain't hear what happened." He said, "What happened?" I said, "What happened?" He said, "So and so died. Everybody died. They was all in the car." I said, "Nah, bro, that ain't real, bro. This is a dude I be with every day, one of them." So I went and tried to call him, and I knocked on my parents' door because they kept, I said, "Oh, I must have got a message on my sister's phone or something like that." Somehow I got the message that, and I didn't have a cell phone, that he died. They died. And I had just saw them the day before, and so I walk up to the door and I knock on the door, and my parents are just I don't know in that moment. I really don't know. And it kind of seemed messed up now that I think about it, but it really was just like reality. So I knock on the door and I'm like, "Can I use the phone? One of my close friends just died. I just heard one of my close friends just died." And they weren't trying to hear that, right? So anyway, they shut the door, and then I was just stuck with that reality, right? Or, because moms didn't play at all. Or, when I was in my hometown, and we was at a party, and we in the party dancing, and next thing I know, I hear, "Oh, them niggas got they burners, woo, okay?" And I'm not thinking nothing. I'm just in there dancing, right? And I look up, and my cousin was walking out the door, and so I run up behind him. Like, "Hey, what's up?" Hop in the car. Everybody, you already know what time it is. Then pull up to my cousin's house. They ain't drop nobody off but me. "Man, drop him off, man. I ain't trying to hear his mama mouth, man. Drop him off in the house, man." So they dropped me off in the house. Everybody in that car is either serving a life sentence for murder or dead. Or people out, you know what I'm saying? I went back to my hometown, Muskogee, for a little bit, right? And we just mobbing through the street, probably like 50 deep, right? Now these are kids I grew up with from preschool, elementary, middle school, and then I moved. Now, about a couple months to a year later, you see Muskogee Mall shooting. These are people I grew up with, right? People I used to be in class with every single day. Gone. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I used to have nightmares about that. Like, I used to have nightmares, like, seeing my homies, and then I'll be like, "Bro, you dead." And then I'll wake up. I used to have dreams like that. kids I was in elementary school with, laughing and playing on the playground. Friday after the last bus, we used to line up in lines after in school, because we would line up and then the buses would come. And I remember I messed with this dude Devontae, right? And we fighting back and forth. You know what I'm saying? How young kids just fight back and forth, right? Come back to school Monday. Devontae and Sean got hit by a car. Devontae died. They drove him like a mile. I don't even know if Sean gonna make it. And seeing older cousins, and this is just normal poor kids, things that becomes normal to you. You don't really realize it's normal until you grow up. Like people from home, Muskogee. Like I remember I would just go back, or I would just hear girls say, "Niggas in Muskogee think they just killers, this, that, and the third." But then when I moved to Texas, I realized, no, like this is not normal. What's going on here? I remember it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least, folks. Probably one of my last days in this school. Jump somebody, right? And at the time, me being young and naive and just being understanding, like I grew up where keep your mouth closed. Mind your business. Why? This is where I first learned that it does not matter who you are, mind your business. It was this old lady, right? Stayed walking distance from my house, probably like 10, 15 minutes from my house in the projects. Old white lady in the projects. I've never seen that since then. I don't know. It's just like an old white lady in the projects, right? And she was like in the newspaper talking about, yeah, these gangs are moving in, they're doing this, that, and the third, and they put her in the newspaper, and a week later she was found in a dumpster right next to where she took the interview. I remember times when I used to see people knocking on the door, and my mom's and my pops is always big about, you better not open my door unless I tell you to open it. If you open it, you getting your butt whooped. No ifs, ands, or buts. No questions. This is what it is. I used to look in the door when people was knocking and see people with ski masks on outside the door knocking on the door, right? Just like stuff like that. Kids that I grew up with, dead, murder, penitentiary. My first cousins, my parents' best friends' kids, gone. Murder. And these people was not, you wouldn't think they was like that, but just life, you know what I'm saying? That's why my mom was like how she was. And just different people that I've dealt with in life. And I can understand what Pac says. How somebody who came from war, living in the streets, how would he be? And that's me. I can understand now why he would say something like that, right? And it's like, growing up as a kid, people who were just sitting right next to you, a few days later, you're seeing the blood laying in the grass to where they just won a couple of dollars at the casino, hopped in the car with some homies, and they blew their brains out, you know what I'm saying? And threw the body. And then we seeing that as we walking past. That's why I might listen to rap music, but I don't live it, because I saw it firsthand. I remember I saw this white dude. He was driving with some burgundy. He used to keep driving through the city in this burgundy Suburban with 24-inch gold spoke rims. I saw him at a foot. I remember one time I'm like, "Mama, look at that." Went to this girl birthday party. She had this long driveway that drove up to her house, right? As a kid, I'm just younger than 14. I'm only telling you a little bit. A week later, they found his body in that Suburban with golden spoke rims. And I'm seeing this at like 10, 11, 12. You know, my grandmother, she was like the church lady, right? So if you look at that movie Friday After the Next, and you see when they was like in the parking lot and they was like, you know what I'm saying, the church lady was singing, and then they come over here like, "Nah, you can't be singing that here." And then the dudes came back for him. That was it. You know what I'm saying? That was my grandmother. And that's just how we grew up. That's just what it was. And that's what it is, you know? So I just sharing this little story on how I can relate to the pain in his face when he came back and saw what he saw. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. We gotta have some sympathy for the kids, but we still gotta lead them in a better direction, cause I'm a project baby, and I saw both for us. I saw the all white, I saw the Words to the Ghetto. I saw them both, lived in them both for a long time. Man, that's real talk.